Now we're welcoming you to our second lecture in our, inshallah, interesting, enjoyable and easy course, which is modern drama. Now this is the second lecture. In this second lecture, actually, we will continue what we started in the first lecture, which is the introduction. We got the introduction till now, and also we got something about modern dramatists, starting with Ibsen. Now this is the second prominent figure in modern dramatists. We have George Bernard Shaw. George Bernard Shaw, he was born, as you can see, in 1856, and he died in 1950. I'd like you actually to pay attention to these dates, because sometimes you might have a question in the final about when George Bernard Shaw, when was he born, or when he died, or something like this. Okay, so please, when you are studying, please pay attention to the dates. They are important. Now let's have an idea about this also prominent figure in drama. The greatest among the modern dramatists was George Bernard Shaw. He was born and brought up in Ireland. He was born in Ireland. At the age of 20 in 1876, he left Ireland for good and went to London to make his fortune. At first he tried his hand at the novel, but he did not get any encouragement. So he started his career as a novelist, not as a dramatist, but he did not get, as you can see, any support or any kind of encouragement to make him continue writing novels. Then he began to take part in debates of all sorts and made his name as the greatest debater in England. He read Karl Marx, and this is the things that helped or contributed in forming his ideas and concepts. He read Karl Marx, became a socialist, and in 1884 joined the Fabian Society, which was responsible for creating the British Labour Party. He was also a voracious reader and came under the influence of Samuel Butler, whom he described as the greatest writer of the later half of the 19th century. Shaw was especially impressed by Butler, so we can know that he was greatly influenced, and he was greatly impressed by Butler's dissatisfaction with the Darwinian theory of the natural selection. Shaw came to believe in the force which Butler has described as the mysterious drive towards greater power over our circumstances and deeper understanding of nature. Shakespeare had described it as the divinity that shapes our ends. Shaw termed it the life of force. Two other writers who provoked the critical mind of Shaw, two other writers that also had influence on the mind of Shaw, on the thinking of Shaw. His formative period were Ibsen, of course. He was greatly affected by Ibsen, a Norwegian dramatist, and also he was affected by, not a dramatist, but by a German philosopher who was called Friedrich Nietzsche. Ibsen, whose doctrine Be Thyself, which was very much like Nietzsche's theory of the Superman who says yeah to life, gave a dramatic presentation of it by picturing in his plays the life of the middle class people. As we said, that he was concentrating more on the life of the middle class people with relentless realism. In his plays, Ibsen had exposed sentimentality, romanticism and hypocrisy. So in his plays we find that Ibsen has exposed, refused and showed sentimentality, romanticism and hypocrisy. He showed men and women in society as they really are and evoked the tragedy that may be inherent in ordinary humdrum life. Working under the influence of Butler, nature, and Ibsen, so under the influence, Shaw was influenced by these three figures, by Butler, by Nietzsche, and Ibsen. Those three figures influenced the mind and the thinking of Shaw. So working under the influence of Butler, Nietzsche, and Ibsen, Shaw, who up to the age of 40 was mainly concerned in learning, in propagating ideas, in debating and persuading people to accept his views about society and morals, decided to bring the world round to his opinions through the medium of the theater. Again, we are still with George Bernard Shaw. With that end in view, he studied the stage through and came out with his plays, which were theatrically perfect and bubbling, with his irrepressible wit. The result was that he immediately attracted attention and became the most popular and influential dramatist of his time. Shaw wrote his plays with the deliberate purposes of propaganda. He himself said, "My reputation has been gained by my persistent struggle to force the public to consider its morals." He prepared the minds of the audience by written, and this is what we mentioned before, that he prepared, please pay attention to this, he prepared the minds of the audience by written prefaces. To each of his work you find that there is a preface to Shaw, to his plays, which are far more convincing than the plays themselves. That's why his plays were more successful when they were produced a second or third time, when the audience had read them in their published form. So when the audience read his prefaces, means that they got a better understanding of the play even before watching it. All the plays of Shaw deal with some problem concerning modern society. For example, so these are some of the examples of his plays. We have in Woodward's House, he put the blame on society and not on the individual's landlord for creating abuses of the right to property. In Getting Married, this is another work by Shaw. He showed the unnaturalness of the home life as at present constituted. In The Doctor Dilemma, he exposed the superstition that doctors are infallible. In John Bull's Other Island, the hero talks exactly like Shaw, and the Englishman represents the worst traits in the English character. Okay. With that end in view, he studied the stage through and came out with his plays, which were theatrically perfect and bubbling with his irrepressible wit. The result was that he immediately attracted attention and became the most popular and influential dramatist of the time. This is another work, which is Caesar and Cleopatra. Caesar and Cleopatra has no particular theme, and that is why it comes nearer to being a play than most of Shaw's works. In the Apple Card, Shaw ridiculed the working of the democratic form of government and hinted that it needed a Superman to set things right. It was in St. John Shaw reached the highest level of his dramatic art by dealing in a tragic manner a universal theme involving grand emotions. Another dramatist, we move now to another great dramatist, Oscar Wilde. Another dramatist who took an important part in the revival of drama in the later part of the 19th century was Oscar Wilde. And it was only during the last 5 years of his life that he turned his attention to writing for the stage. So again, similar to Shaw, that he did not start writing in his first life for the stage. During his lifetime, his plays became very popular, and they were thought to represent a high mark in England in English drama, but their importance was exaggerated because they are merely the work of a skilled craftsmanship. It was mainly on account of their style, graceful, polished, and full of wit, that they appealed to the audience. Oscar Wilde had the tact of discovering the passing mood of the tome and expressing it gracefully. Otherwise, his plays are all superficial, and none of them adds to our knowledge or understanding of life. The situation he presents in his plays are hackneyed and borrowed from French plays of the intrigue. Lady, this is one of some of his works. Lady Windermere's fans, a woman of no importance, an ideal husband, and the importance of being earnest are the four important comedies of Wilde. So these are the four important comedies of Wilde. The first three plays are built on the model of conventional social melodramas of the time. They are giving sparkle and literary interest by the flashing wit of the dialogue. The last play, the importance of being earnest, on the other hand, is built on the model of popular farce of the time. Wilde calls this a trivial comedy for serious people. It is successful because of its detachment from all meanings and models. In fact, this play proved to Wilde that the graceful foolery of force was the form which was best suited to the expression of his dramatic genius. Okay, now another modern dramatist. We have John Galsworthy. As we said, that he wrote a very nice play that I liked actually, which is The Silver Books. Galsworthy was a great dramatist of modern times, who, besides being a novelist of the first rank, made his mark also in the field of drama. He believed in the naturalistic technique, both in the novel and the drama. According to him, naturalistic art is like a steady lamp held up from time to time, in whose light things will be seen for a space clearly in due proportions, freed from the mists of prejudice and partisanship. Okay, Galsworthy desired to reproduce both upon the stage and in his books the natural spectacle of life presented with detachment. Of course, his delicate sympathies for the people and unprivileged classes make his heart melt for them, and he takes sides with them. As we said before, that he was mainly concerned with the poor and unprivileged classes, those low-class people, makes his heart melt for them and takes sides with them. All the time he is supporting and writing about the poor people, because he felt that those people are forgotten, that no one remembers, that no one cares about them, that those people they do not have the right to live. So that's why he was mainly concerned and interested in writing about them. Okay, the important plays of Galsworthy are like Strike, Justice, The Skin Game, and The Silver Books. I recommend you and advise you to read this one, the last one. All these plays deal with social and ethical problems. Strike deals with the problems of strikes, which are not only futile but do immense harm to both parties. The Skin Game presents the conflict between all established class. Justice is a severe criticism of the prison administration of that period, and the best one, which is The Silver Books, deals with the old proverbs that there is one law for the rich and another for the poor. And this is what he really believes in, that law is not for all, that there is one law for the poor people and the low people, and there is also another law for the rich people. Okay. Another dramatist, who is Barker, Granville Barker, belonged to that group of dramatists like Galsworthy, who dealt with domestic tragedy. and the problem plays. Though he wrote a number of plays of different sorts in collaboration with other playwrights, he occupies his place in modern drama mainly as a writer of 4 realistic plays. This is his most well-known plays, like The Marrying of an Elite, The Voicy Inheritance, Waste, and The Mother's House. Each of these plays deals with a dominant problem of social life. The importance of Parker in the 20th century drama lies in his fine delineation of character and realistic style. His plays seem to be excerpts of life to a greater extent than even those of Galsworthy. The dialogue is very natural and near to ordinary conversation. So when you read his plays, you feel that the dialogue between the character is quite simple, and it's quite similar to the language that is being used in daily life. The life presented in those plays is the narrow and the pretty life lived by the upper middle classes in England in his days. Another dramatist belonging to the same school as Galsworthy and Granville Parker is Mansfield. He combines in himself high imagination, stern classical spirit, passionate enthusiasm, and cold logic, fantasy and realism. Though he slings to the natural world and is a confirmed realist, he is wrapped in the spirit of mysticism. All these conflicting qualities are seen in his greatest plays, The Tragedy of Nan, which is the best modern example of the form of domestic tragedy. Okay, the last dramatist that you need to know, the last modern dramatist that you need to know about is J.M. Barrie. J.M. Barrie did not belong to any school of dramatists. The best of his work is marked by imaginative fantasy, humor, and tender pathos. His most characteristic and original play is The Admirable Christian, a drawing room comedy in which the family butler is the hero. 3 other plays like Peter Pan, The Golden Bird, and The Golden Age have the children's story book characters in them who are brought to life by the writer's skill. Barrie's last and most ambitious drama was The Boy David in 1936, in which he has given a fine picture of the candid soul of boyhood. So he showed the soul of the boyhood at that time, as the play deals with a story from the Bible. So he got the story from the Bible, which is well known. Barrie could not here effectively make use of the element of surprise, which is his strongest point in other plays. So you feel that he is surprising us in his plays. On the whole, Barrie is a skilled technician. He discovered that in an age of affectations and pretensions, the theater goers needed the sincerity and innocence of childhood, and he earned his popularity by giving them what they needed. Okay, now we have reached to the last point, that, as I said, that you will find at the end of my lecture similar point like this, which is model questions. Okay, so the first question that you need to know here is George Bernard Shaw died in. Of course, if you look at the name of Bernard Shaw at the very beginning, you will find that he died in either in 1950 or 1951, 1952, 1953. Of course, the best answer, or the correct answer, is of course answer of letter A, which is 1950. So George Bernard Shaw died in 1950. Okay, the second question that we have here: George Bernard Shaw was born and brought up in where? If you still remember, he was born and brought up in Britain, or in Ireland, in France, letter C, in Italy. Of course, the correct answer, as you can see here, the correct answer is letter B, which is he was born and brought up in Ireland. Okay, so this is the way that you will find me selecting your questions from. Okay, this is the end of the second lecture. Thank you very much. I'm so happy that I'm having the chance to teach you. Inshallah, hope you are enjoying the course, hope you are enjoying the lectures, and inshallah we will meet in our inshallah third lecture inshallah soon. Thank you very much. All the best to all of you, not only in my course but also in all the other courses. Thank you very much. See you inshallah later. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.